This is how much lip filler I'm putting in my lips tonight. I just wanted to show you what I can do with myself.
So filler causes. This is a brand new study. So what do you do now? If you have filler, do you need to get it removed?
Say like even now, if you go closer, you can kind of see the migration.
So what you're looking at here is an MRI image. Now the area that is green is the hyaluronic acid filler.
Well, my dears, if you are still stuck in the filler era, listen up, because filler is over. I am done! The overinflated, dermally filled explosion that we've seen over the last 10 years has finally come to an end. And thank goodness for that, because some of you gals were looking a bit weird. You heard me, girls. Fillers have failed. What we were sold as a solution to small lips, big noses.
Are you just making the nose bigger?
You're right. Technically, yes, it is making it bigger.
Round faces.
Injection options for round face shape. Cheek filler to contour and lift the mid-face. Chin filler to elongate the face and lengthen the chin.
And wrinkles was alive.
What a load of crap!
More and more girls are waking up to the fact that they were scammed and they're not happy. Welcome to the new trend, the anti-filler era.
I am getting my lips dissolved.
I'm going to get my lip filler dissolved.
So excited about taking these fillers out. Like, what is this? Come on.
I'm getting my lip filler dissolved.
I got my lip filler dissolved.
We are dissolving my lips.
Buckle up, guys, because if you've ever had filler, ever thought about getting filler, or still get filler, what you're about to see will horrify you. To tell you about the downfall of filler, first we have to go back to the start, where it all began. Believe it or not, bigger wasn't always better. Once upon a time, small lips were cute. Injecting foreign substances into your face was seen as bizarre, and filler was something you bought to fill cracks in your house. Fast forward to 2015, and Kylie Jenner finally comes clean that her inflated lips weren't actually just down to lip liner or puberty like she had insisted for years, but the result of filler. Google searches for lip fillers increased by 11,300%. Is that a thing? In just 24 hours. The demand for lip filler was off the charts. It was the best thing since sliced bread, and suddenly we all had these juicy, plumped up lips. And considering that this was also the era of makeup YouTube and the beauty guru, who injected just about every square inch of their face available, suddenly having filler injected into your face was seen as normal.
I'm getting lip filler for the first time.
With me to get lip filler.
Today I am getting more lip injection.
To get lip filler today, make them a bit more juicy.
And it didn't stop there. We soon realized that not only could you increase the size of your lips with filler, but that we could also create cheekbones from nothing. We could actually make our noses look smaller by making them bigger with filler. We could create jawlines and pointy chins and plump out under eyes. The sky was the limit. Filler was marketed as the non-invasive alternative to plastic surgery, and we were hooked. And as with any new trend, came the people determined to capitalize off it. No, you weren't imagining it. Cosmetic clinics and injectors began popping up on every street corner. These people often had no proper training in facial anatomy or formal qualifications, or if they did, it was a one-day workshop in some backstreet alley. Not to mention their sanitation standards left a lot to be desired, but because they were offering what was otherwise a rather pricey tweakment at cut-cost prices, the customers rolled in.
A local woman without a medical license arrested for injecting fake facial fillers. Jake, this woman was allegedly doing this out of her home right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Filler became so popular and so normalized that even children under the age of 18 were sneaking off to get dermal fillers injected into their tiny young faces illegally.
I first got lip filler when I was 16. It was right before my prom. I remember she said, like, you're gonna be like addicted now.
Now 19, Liv has visited multiple practitioners for lip fillers. She often found them on social media. Some were still in training.
It'll be discounted, usually like a lot cheaper.
MPs have called the non-surgical beauty industry the Wild West, with no mandatory training needed to buy or inject fillers.
I mean, we even had well-meaning mothers taking their beautiful teenage daughters to get fillers in an attempt to rid them of their insecurities.
She's 16. Are you taking her and getting Botox and filler treatments on her?
She had that done, yes.
At 15?
She's felt insecure about how she looks, and I wanted her to feel better about herself. I've had it done myself.
Oh my God.
I mean, this thoughtful grandmother even posted online to query at what age her plain-looking 5-year-old granddaughter could begin getting filler and Botox. The normalization of filler became so prevalent and yet so taboo at the same time. We had influencers and celebrities injecting copious amounts of filler into their faces, and yet they would staunchly deny it. Look at Madison Beer, for example. Not only did Madison go on a bizarre rant on her Instagram stories about how she has no filler, thank you very much.
Yes, guys, I got my lips done when I was younger and I regretted it and I hated it and I got them dissolved. This is literally my natural face. Shut up already. It's so annoying. I'm sorry, I'm so mad right now. And like, I'm so mad right now because I'm about to start crying, bro. Like, someone said, you're not unnatural though. Why would you lie about that? Because I'm not lying about that. Someone said, just admit you filled your lips. When I was younger, I did when I was younger, and I got them dissolved.
Madison was so cagey about her tweakments that she literally hid behind a bush in order to avoid being photographed by paparazzi outside the famous cosmetic clinic Epione, which, by the way, is frequented by none other than the Kardashian clan, who, as we all know, are fond of a little or a lot of filler.
Okay, so Madison has had a long history of getting accused of plastic surgery and fillers and then denying it. And for some reason, people's accusations that she's not all natural really seems to bother her. But just yesterday, photos were released of her and Cindy Kimberly outside of a Beverly Hills plastic surgery clinic. And the best part about these iconic photos is that with each picture snapped, she tries harder and harder to hide from the paparazzi by getting behind a bush.
But Madison isn't the only one who wants people to believe that her beauty is au naturel. Hailey Bieber, for one, gets very offended if you insinuate that she's dabbled with tweakments, as TikTok plastic surgeon Dr. Daniel Barrett realized when he made this video alleging that Hailey had work done.
In addition to the rhinoplasty, I think she's had a couple other things done, but importantly and very noticeably, lip filler and a genioplasty, which is a chin implant.
And Hailey threatened to sue him.
Hailey Bieber is standing her ground that she did not get any plastic surgery, so much so that she and her husband Justin Bieber are threatening to sue the doctor who said that she's had some work done on her face.
Now, I'm not going to say that Hailey's lying, and I'm not going to say that Dr. Barrett is wrong. Hailey, for the most part, does look like a natural beauty in my opinion, and unlike her fellow celeb influencer friends, who almost have brand new faces now, Hailey looks remarkably similar now to when she was younger. All except her lips. Yes, Hailey did always have large lips, but she never had an embossed philtrum. You cannot tell me that she doesn't have filler when if you look at her lips, you can literally see the filler migration. See that? There it is. That is not nature. That is filler, in my opinion. Allegedly. Hailey, please don't sue me.
Now, Hailey Bieber has never admitted to getting lip filler, but this ledge that she has above her lip looks a lot like lip filler migration.
Like, some people get addicted to things like drugs or alcohol, and some people get addicted to filler.
When we say addicted, Chantal, what does that mean? To what extent?
I love the look and I will keep having it topped up to keep them looking like they are.
I did get addicted to lip filler, constant lip filler, literally going to, anyone, which is really awful to say, but because I was so addicted, before I knew it, I looked like an absolute freak.
Our love of filler became so toxic that women literally began injecting their own faces with filler at home with products they purchased off the black market with no idea what they were doing, risking blindness, necrosis, and infection. Look at this poor fellow who thought it was a good idea to inject filler into his own lips by himself at home whilst drunk.
I'm currently like a little bit fucked up, I'm not gonna lie. This is how much lip filler I'm putting in my lips tonight. I just wanted to show you bitches that I can do it myself. Okay, so the needle is almost in. Ugh.
And this lady who decided to inject not only her own lips at home by herself, but also her chin, her jawline, and her boyfriend.
Okay, so now that mom's having a freak out behind the camera, we're gonna do Jonathan's lips. Only his top one, just a little bit, to give it more of that volume, like we like.
So here we all were, happily plumping our lips, injecting our cheeks, and looking mighty fine. Until something went wrong. We noticed that instead of looking snatched and plump and glowing and youthful, we were looking older. Instead of looking sculpted, our faces were expanding. Our faces were looking fuller, but in the wrong areas. Areas that we never injected to begin with.
What the hell is going on?
Why did our fillers that we were so loyal to turn on us? How did fillers that were promised to help us fit the beauty standard end up doing the opposite? Here's the thing. I was sold a lie. And so are you. Not only that bigger is always better, bigger lips, bigger chins, bigger cheeks, bigger butts, bigger boobs, but we were told that filler is temporary. Filler dissolves. It's basically the same as getting your hair colored or your nails done. It's not permanent. And if you don't like it or it all goes wrong, you can just get it dissolved, no biggie. And for a while, that lie held up. After all, filler is made from hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid is naturally occurring in our bodies, and we were told that over time our bodies would break down the filler, reabsorb it, and it would all be gone. It seemed plausible enough. After all, we'd all had that experience where we got our lips freshly injected and we loved how plump they were. And then a few weeks to a month would pass and our lips deflated. They were back to square one, like we'd never had them injected to begin with. And so we would dutifully head back to our cosmetic injector to get a top-up. These top-ups, we were assured, were necessary to do because, after all, filler is temporary. So top-ups were needed every few months.
How often do I recommend you get your lip filler done? I typically recommend lip filler to be done every 6 to 9 months.
This lie has made the filler industry literally billions of dollars. Not to mention the cosmetic injectors sitting pretty in their clinics, guaranteed repeat visits every time a girl notices her filler starting to dissolve.
I am going in today to get my lips topped off, as I like to call it.
I get my lips done today. I just want a little bit of a top up.
But in the process, have ruined the faces of millions of women worldwide. These girls' fillers weren't dissolving. They weren't temporary. Their bodies weren't breaking down the hyaluronic acid and reabsorbing it. The filler was still there, alright, just not where it was originally injected.
Okay, watch me ruin my beauty with filler. This is what I started off at 21 years old. Never did anything to my face. Okay, so now I look like a human blow-up doll. Here is my Simpson lip from the side. Like, this was like a normal look. This is one of the worst photos I have of myself, and I look absolutely insane.
Quick pause to thank this video's sponsor, Typology. Feast your eyes upon the splendor that is the Typology Advent Calendar. Let's be honest, we all love an Advent Calendar. It must be the little kids in us, the excitement of waking up every morning knowing there's a new door on your Advent Calendar to open and wondering what little gift is going to be inside. And Typology's Advent Calendars are legendary. The first Advent Calendar Typology launched sold out in 24 hours, which is why I'm showing you this in October. Inside the Advent Calendar, designed by renowned French artist Erwan Burulek, you'll find 24 of the most luxurious skincare products that are both formulated and made in France. Pretty bougie, I gotta say. Now, I'm not gonna spoil the surprise for you and open all of them. You can do that yourselves. But as a little hint, let me tell you that you will get my absolute favorite glow drops. These literally make your skin look like it's glowing from within. And you also get the tan complexion oil, which makes you look like you've just spent a week in the Maldives. This would make the most decadent and luxurious gift for someone that you love, but honestly, buy it for yourself. Since over half of the products contained in the Advent Calendar are full size and contain Typology's best sellers for face, eyes, lips, and hands, you're not gonna need to buy skincare for a long time. That's $530 worth of skincare products for almost half price. And since we're all trying to be a little more eco-friendly, this beautiful Advent Calendar has been specifically designed to optimize space, therefore reducing its carbon footprint on its way to you. Treat yourself. I'm going to pop the special link down below. And remember guys, this is a cult item. It sells out very quickly, but the link I'm going to pop below in the description box, it gives you guys early access so you can purchase it before anyone else. That's right. The whole time you thought your fillers were dissolving, they were actually migrating. Where to? Well, anywhere really. Your chest, your neck, other areas of your face that you never would have willingly injected filler. Here's the awful truth, guys. Your filler didn't dissolve, it just moved.
Been filling my lips for like the last 10 years, like off and on, like, you know, I would say once a year probably for like the last 10 years.
But the problem is fillers actually can last a long time, several years. In fact, MRI scans that we have done on patients who had fillers many years ago, even 10 years ago, show that the lip filler is still there. So what is actually happening to this lip filler? What happens is that the lip filler actually migrates out of the vermilion or the lips, and it migrates out of it where it can't be seen.
It may look good when they first put it in, but I feel like it starts to move. I notice even my fillers start to go like up here.
Prepare to be disgusted when you hear what Dr. Amir Karam discovered when he performed surgery on one of his patients who stopped getting filler 5 years prior.
I'll share a story with you. Literally last week, I was operating on a patient. We go off to the surgery, getting into the tissues, and suddenly I just see this gel-like substance oozing out of the tissues, down around the jawline, up around the cheeks, and it's like fresh filler. And so I asked her, I said, yeah, you know, when was the last time you had filler put in your face? She said, the last time was like 5 years ago. It was amazing that 5 years later, in the very tissues, was this fresh oozing filler coming out. I mean, literally, it's almost like you can press on it and it would ooze out of the tissues like a sponge.
And this is a huge problem. That thick, sludgy filler that we loved in our lips and cheeks and under eyes isn't so good when it collates in our lymph system. If you don't know what your lymph system is, you need to. Your lymphatic system is a fundamental part of your immune system. It is your body's way of flushing toxins and waste out of your system. It is literally your detox system. Your lymphatic system is one of the main ways that your body fights disease, and if your lymph gets blocked, you're in trouble. So if your filler is blocking this delicate lymph system and causing waste and toxins to build up in your body, well, as you can imagine, it's a pretty big problem, and one that the filler industry doesn't want you to know about.
Fillers can block the lymphatics, which is your body's natural plumbing system. What you're looking at is an imaging study that maps the lymphatics using a fluorescent dye. The patient received 2 syringes of HA fillers to her tear troughs and midface more than 5 years ago. On a typical person without fillers, the fluorescent dye would disappear within 24 hours. However, she still displayed fluorescence for 4 to 5 days, signifying blocked lymphatics.
But some plastic surgeons and injectors are getting concerned. One of these plastic surgeons with a conscience is the Manhattan-based surgeon Spiro Theodorou. Following the study unveiled at the annual scientific conference of the British Association of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons, that is a mouthful, discovered new evidence that everyone who has had filler at some point in their lives, which is also me, will have some degree of lymphatic blockage. Dr. Theodorou says, I cannot in good conscience provide this to my patients anymore because of what I saw in that study. He is aware that he will become the most hated plastic surgeon in the world for speaking the truth, but he said he felt ethically bound to investigate his suspicions and share his findings.
So filler causes cancer. There's a new major study, and it's going to hit people like a ton of bricks. All filler patients will have some degree of blockage. We're talking about lymphatic blockage. Filler can block and permanently, keyword, damage these vital and delicate structures.
So there's an entire generation of girls who are putting their trust into an industry that's slowly destroying us, spending their hard-earned money or even going into debt in order to better fit the beauty standards, which we were told filler would help us do. And for a while it did just that. A freshly filled face looked glowing, juicy, and plump in all the right areas until they didn't. Since these fillers weren't actually dissolving, and yet we were told to keep getting top-ups, sometimes for years on end. And all that time, the filler was building up and building up and building up and expanding and flattening out and merging together and migrating, and the end result is pillow face.
I've been saying for a really long time that this female obsession with cosmetic procedures shows that we're not in a good place, and finally people are acknowledging something's wrong because women don't really look like human beings anymore, and they're calling it pillow face. Pillow face refers to this new trend where hundreds of thousands of perfectly beautiful, healthy women, in trying to become even more beautiful, even more perfect, are literally disfiguring their faces with filler. And not only does filler never really dissolve, which causes pillow face, it also messes with the lymphatic system, which can cause cancer. So even though filler doesn't improve the way we look, and it's also a risk to our lives, we women can't stop doing it.
But it's not just older women who have developed pillow face syndrome from too many fillers, it's now happening to the younger generation as well. I mean, have you guys seen Gen X? It's when after years and years and years of filler top-ups, your face just begins to expand. You look older than you actually are, and your facial skin begins to droop. And don't even get me started on the girls whose faces have been virtually destroyed by their filler migrating wherever the heck it wants. You got it injected into your lips, doesn't mean it's gonna stay there. Look at this poor girl who posted this video to TikTok and then deleted it as it went a little viral, and I can see why. First of all, who the hell injected that much filler into her lips? Who the hell told her that amount of filler looked good? Honestly, there needs to be some kind of ramification for injectors who willingly take their clients' hard-earned money only to disfigure them like this. It's not bloody fair. Her lips literally look like a baboon's bum, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but we need to start being honest that sometimes filler really isn't that flattering, and bigger isn't always better. For health, both mental and physical, and aesthetic reasons. The problem with this girl is that there's no more room in her lips for the filler to go. They are so overfilled, and so the filler is being forced up outside of the lip border and into her philtrum. No one is going to go to their local cosmetic injector and be like, can you just inject some filler into my moustache area, please? I'm going for the Daffy Duck look. Obviously, we don't do that, and yet that's where the filler ends up regardless. And the girlies aren't making it up when they say they think their filler is aging them. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but it's inevitable that if you keep injecting dermal filler into your face over and over and over, and you keep forcing that skin to expand to a accommodate the new girth of your filler, in a few years, your face is literally going to start to droop. All that filler is not weightless. A mil here, a mil there, it doesn't sound like a lot, it certainly doesn't sound heavy, but if you add up all the mils of filler these girls were injecting into their faces over the course of a few years, and you put all that filler into a bowl, and you weigh that bowl of filler, you would be horrified. Now add to that the fact that dermal fillers are usually made of hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid has a knock-on effect of absorbing water. So the filler that you've had injected into your lips, your cheekbones, your jawline, your chin, that you thought had dissolved, that has actually just migrated and spread to other areas of your face and body, can also be the answer if your face appears puffy or swollen.
Dermal filler, when you inject it, doesn't just sit there and do nothing. It changes characteristics. It pulls in water and it starts to swell. And depending on which layer you've placed it in, it could potentially move from one place to another.
The thing is, when your body retains water from eating too much salty food or having poor lymph flow, that water in your body is being drawn to your fillers, which then causes fluid retention in your face. Not ideal. Certainly not what you paid for, not the look you were going for. And the worst part about it is that these girls haven't even realized what's going on until it's too late. They get a mil here, a mil there, little top up here, little top up there, love the results until a few months pass and the effect is gone. The woman assumes that her fillers have dissolved, and so she books into the clinic for a top up. And this is how us girls are slowly ruining our faces over time. This is how we go from looking like this to this. This poor girl is Charlotte Crosby. If you're in the UK, you'll know exactly who Charlotte Crosby is. I mean, she's a pretty big deal. This is what she used to look like. Very pretty. And then she got a nose job and began to inject dermal fillers into her face, which TV presenter Janet Street Porter was not best pleased about. Check out this roasting Charlotte got on national TV.
But you have said then you've gone for the cosmetic surgery.
Yeah, I got my nose done, yeah.
But then what did you do to your mouth?
I got some lip fillers.
So, people talk about the Kardashian effect, you know, with the big lips, because so many girls now have these big lips, which to our generation are, you know, not natural.
But what message does that send to teenage girls who watch your show, who, you know, follow you on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram? What message does that say to young girls who might think, oh, my nose has got a lump in it, but haven't got £4,000 to change it? Why couldn't you, just to be really controversial, why couldn't you have counselling? Why didn't you seek some kind of therapy to live with the face you had rather than just moving it all around 5 inches?
Okay, I think she gets the point. Calm down, Janet. But at the same time, she does kind of have a point. Charlotte is a shining example of someone whose filler initially looked brilliant, and then over time, her fillers began to fail. As you can see, over the years, Charlotte's filler began to build up and expand and migrate until she almost looked like a totally different person. Luckily, Charlotte realized that she'd gone a little overboard with the fillers, and her fillers weren't serving her anymore, and she had her lips dissolved.
8 years of filler in these lips. And it's taken us 8 years to decide we've got to go.
And Charlotte is not the only celebrity turning her back on fillers. The new trend is having your filler dissolved. Filler is out. Pillow face isn't it. And the new old money, minimal, clean girl aesthetic is in. And that doesn't include artificially inflated baboon butt lips or filler injected chipmunk cheeks or dermally filled fake bone structure that would make Squidward jealous. No one wants fillers anymore. Even celebrities like Ariana Grande, who initially loved her dermally filled facial features, has now turned her back on them and has now apparently, allegedly, had them dissolved.
Had a ton of lip filler over the years and Botox. I stopped in 2018 because I just felt so too much.
Even JoJo, you know JoJo, this JoJo. She too had her lips dissolved after her filler migrated. She, just like the rest of us, thought the fillers were going to dissolve, and then they didn't, and they just moved, and she was like, what the hell?
I got my lip filler dissolved because it had started to migrate. I didn't know it could do that. I thought it was just gonna metabolize and dissolve. Like, I thought it was just gonna, like, go away over time, you know?
Then we had Molly May, reality star turned mighty influencer queen of the UK, who initially, like a lot of us, went way overboard with the filler and went from looking like this to this. Not good. Take it away, Molly.
I've been getting my lips filled with filler since I was about 17. I just don't like the way they look. I feel like over the last few months I've really noticed how kind of like unnatural they look. You can really see how much filler is in my lips and like they just feel really hard, and It's just time they went. It's time they went.
Then we have Molly's fellow Love Island alumni, Faye Winter. If you want to talk about overdoing the lip filler, you needn't look further than Faye. Faye's lips are overfilled to the extreme. And big lips, whilst on women who have them naturally look utterly beautiful, they didn't fit Faye. Now, Faye realized that she'd taken it a little bit too far and had her lip fillers, you guessed it, dissolved. Unfortunately for Faye, because she had had so much lip filler injected into her naturally petite lips over the course of 7 years, when she had her lip filler dissolved, she was left with lips, as she describes them, looking like ball sacks, with skin so stretched and wrinkly that they would likely never recover. Which makes sense, right? Think about a balloon. When it's brand new and never blown up, it's smooth and taut. After it's been blown up and then deflated, the balloon doesn't just go back to looking how it did prior to being inflated, does it? No, it looks stretched, wrinkly, worn out. Your lips are much the same. Just like the old balloon, your lip skin is going to sag. It's been so stretched that when you dissolve the filler that's been holding it up, there's nothing there to fill it out, and it just droops. Which leads us to our next problem. Again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm sorry to tell you guys, but there is another lie that the filler industry has sold us. We're told that if our filler goes wrong, or look bad, or we overdo it, it's no biggie. Just get them dissolved. Do you know what this is? It's just another trap for us women. Another way for the plastic surgeons and injectable clinics to make money off women's insecurities. And another way you're destroying your face without even realizing. Yes, it's true that if your fillers go wrong, or you get too much, or you just don't like the look of them, you can have them dissolved. Enter hyaluronidase. Hyaluronidase is an enzyme that degrades hyaluronic acid, which is what fillers are made out of. So it makes sense that hyaluronidase can dissolve filler. But think about it. We also have naturally occurring hyaluronic acid in our bodies. And if your filler is over 3 months old and you get hyaluronidase to dissolve it, you're also going to be dissolving your own natural hyaluronic acid, along with your own collagen and elastin, effectively weakening your own skin in an attempt to dissolve just the filler. I'm not making this up, guys. I wish I was. And believe it or not, guys, it can actually get even worse than this. Some women claim that their faces have been left permanently destroyed by hyaluronidase.
Skin hanging from the bones. It's all loose. My skin isn't attached to my face. What is this? This Russian woman is one of many patients around the world reporting devastating side effects after a popular cosmetic procedure, the removal of facial fillers that some claim has impacted their whole body. Queensland woman Agnes had lip fillers dissolved 2 years ago. She says what began as a feeling of numbness soon escalated to indescribable pain. Victorian woman Tina is also suffering. The drug, called hyaluronidase, is injected into the skin to break down filler compounds and skin tissue. Its off-label use in cosmetic procedures is unapproved, untested, and unregulated.
And it's so sad. I mean, our love of fillers started off so positively. It was like this healthy, new, budding relationship, and everything was exciting, wholesome, and mutually beneficial. And then the relationship turned toxic. Hear me when I say that too much of a good thing is not a good thing. Now, in conclusion, if you have had filler in the past, currently get filler, or were thinking about starting to get filler, and this video has left you shocked and disturbed, good. That's what I wanted. Not necessarily to scare you and stop you from getting filler. I mean, it's your own face. You can do whatever you want with it. But I just want you guys to know what you're dealing with so that you can make informed consent when you get your fillers done. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to leave this video here because I have been filming for 40 minutes. If you've made it to the end of this video, come and comment on my Instagram, apples. Anyone who comments apples on my Instagram, I'm going to reply to with a huge virtual hug. This is my Instagram @_Stephanie Lang_. I love you guys, and I will see you next week for a new video.